We want to continue our discussion about this whole mental health idea. We don't need to deal with guns. We just need to deal with mental health. Well, then it would follow that we need to actually make mental health treatment more accessible. Last week, we looked at Republican Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, and I played clips for you of Tony Gonzalez saying, this is just a mental illness problem. These shootings, it's not about guns. It's just about mental illness. That's all that we really have to deal with. And then we looked at Tony Gonzalez's voting record when it came to increased access to health care, and it was atrocious. Voting against Obamacare expansions, voting against all sorts of different funding for health-related programs, because it's just something they want to say. It's not actually something they want to deal with. Well, now we have an example of Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott. At a press conference last week, Greg Abbott again said the issue here, it's not about guns. It's about mental health. Here is Greg Abbott explaining this.
So the ability of an 18-year-old to buy a long gun has been in place in the state of Texas for more than 60 years. And think about during the time over the course of that 60 years, we have not had episodes like this.
Now, Texas actually has a pretty big mass shooting problem. But one of the things that has changed, even if they want to make the case, well, the access to guns hasn't necessarily changed in the last 60 years. The marketing to people to get more and more guns has changed over 60 years. But importantly, the culture around guns has changed over 60 years, where because of this corrosive American gun culture and the educational problems and the almost the delusional nature of the American right, more and more people come to see firearms as a way to solve problems. That's a cultural issue. So things have changed, but now we're getting to the key part.
And why is it that for the majority of those 60 years, we did not have school shootings? And why is it that we do now? The reality is, I don't know the answer to that question. However, what I do know in talking to the leaders here, as well as leaders in other locations around the state, and that is one thing that has substantially changed, is the status of mental health in our communities. What I do know is this, and that is we as a state, we as a society, need to do a better job with mental health. Anybody who shoots somebody else has a mental health challenge, period. We as a government need to find a way to target that mental health challenge.
Right. Now, the issue with all of this is, as usual, there's massive hypocrisy. Greg Abbott cut $211 million from a mental health commission. There's a report on KSAT which says Abbott has doubled down on his stance that mass shootings are an issue of mental health and not gun access. However, in April, Abbott slashed nearly $211 million from the Health and Human Services Commission, which oversees mental health services in Texas. Abbott diverted the funds to add to his effort to send National Guard to the Texas-Mexico border, known as Operation Lone Star. No other Texas agency received a more significant cut than the HHSC when Abbott slashed funding. Texas ranks 44th in the United States for an overall ranking of mental health measures and last out of all 50 states in access to mental health care. The Republican right never pays a political price for their hypocrisy, and that has to change. But think about the absurdity of this. The problem isn't guns, it's mental health. Well, okay, I mean, to a degree, we've been talking about the problems there for a long time, although there's a cultural problem as well. We got to figure out how to deal with mental health. Oh, well, how would we do that? I don't know. I cut funding to expand mental health care in my state, which is already dead last on access to mental health care, to instead use the money to send National Guard to the Texas-Mexico border. That's, and of course, unless their constituents are able to follow and understand and be aware of this, there's not going to be any accountability. There simply isn't. It's not a crazy thing to think a voter could understand. Okay, let's see. Maybe guns are part of it. Maybe they aren't. But if mental health care is a part of it, then what is Greg Abbott doing to deal with that? Actually, he's making the problem worse by defunding it to send National Guard to the border. Oh, I should vote against him. I should vote for Beto O'Rourke. I should, would it stay home? I don't know. But I shouldn't go and vote for Greg Abbott if that's the case. But they don't hold themselves to the standards which they appear to try to hold the left to. And at this point, conservatism fundamentally is about there are in-groups and there are out-groups. And it doesn't matter what aspect of our politics we're talking about. We must protect the in-groups at all costs at the expense of the out-groups, even if we are openly hypocritical. Well, when it comes to immigration, well, we must protect the in-group, which is the natural-born American citizens or whatever. When it comes to religion, the in-group is Christians. When it comes to, you understand the idea here. And whatever principle they state is going to be ignored when it would no longer protect whatever the in-group is at the time. And mental health now is the issue in order to protect the gun owners and not have to do anything about the guns. But we're not actually going to deal with the mental health issue. When we have opportunities to fund it, we take money away. Don't you dare use my tax money to help solve that problem. We're pro-life, right? But don't you dare use my tax money to improve foster care or to help single mothers or to fund comprehensive sex education, which reduces the demand for abortions. No. This is a sickness. I mean, listen, even look at police, right? Oh, police are always right, and we must support them always when there's some police use of force against, often it's a non-white person. But then all of a sudden, well, look at what happened. Look at how the police were treated on January 6th. No. Now the police are bad and the justice system is bad because the in-group, the Trumpists, are sitting in pretrial detention. There are no actual principles that go beyond supporting the in-group, and we are very much seeing that here.